this virus, you can get it and you can die from it. So make sure you do everything you're supposed to do.
Numbers show it is especially devastating to one group, African Americans.
This officer right here behind us told us that we cannot wear masks.
In Chicago, nearly 70% of virus-related fatalities are black, even though African Americans make up less than a third of the population.
So that's why we see these numbers so high. Not only can we get the coronavirus, but we can die from the coronavirus.
It's going to be disproportionate towards the African Americans. I do expect that.
We got to make sure first, though, every American can get a test, can get tested, because right now there's a shortage of tests.
I don't take responsibility at all. The Obama administration made a decision on testing that turned out to be very detrimental.
Earvin Magic Johnson, Laker legend and entrepreneur, weighed in on the coronavirus pandemic hitting the globe. What struck him the most was the similarities between when he was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS and the current climate's reaction to COVID-19.
We see these numbers so high because, people went out there spreading that word that blacks couldn't get it, and now we see that not only can we get the coronavirus, but we can die from the coronavirus.
Let's take a step back for just one moment.
First of all, let me say good late afternoon.
When Magic Johnson announced on November the 7th, 1991, that he'd contracted HIV/AIDS.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
It shook everyone, not Magic, many cried. It can't be, felt others. It ran rampant in the 1980s, affecting notable celebrities like Queen frontman Freddie Mercury and artist Keith Haring. The death toll was rising so quickly, with so little information about the disease, that people didn't want you to kiss them on the cheek.
I would like to begin by announcing some important developments in our war against the Chinese virus.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus?
Labels are important and also cause discrimination.
And sending doctors and the media scrambling to explain what some people simply began calling gay cancer.
Which shows that the lifestyle of some male homosexuals
Homophobia ran rampant. In the summer of 1984, the president of American Airlines opened a breakfast at the Republican National Convention by joking that gay stood for "Got AIDS yet?" The Reagan administration viewed HIV/AIDS as a joke, not publicly mentioning it till 1985, when over 5,000 people had died.
Sometimes you're a little naive about it and you think it could never happen to you. You only thought it could happen to, other people and so on and on. And it has happened, but I'm going to deal with it, and my life will go on.
And just like that, the stigma was buried. Magic Johnson became the face of this virus, stoic and calm at the podium, but many feeling the dark cloud hanging over everyone's mind. Being diagnosed with HIV/AIDS at that time was a death sentence. Everyone thought Magic was going to pass away.
I think right now is similar to what happened with HIV and AIDS. When I announced, people were wrong because blacks thought that they couldn't get HIV and AIDS. It's the same thing as the coronavirus. It reminds me going back 30 years. And we were all wrong, and the numbers is switched from a white gay man's disease to a minority disease.
Nailed it. As BuzzFeed News reported today, Magic's analysis is not a claim, rather a fact of blunt statistics. Louisiana has the fourth largest number of COVID-19 cases in the country, where black Americans constitute 60% of the population, wrote The Guardian on Wednesday. Slightly more than 70% of COVID deaths in Louisiana are African Americans, said the state's governor. In Chicago, black Americans comprise 71% of COVID-19 deaths, despite representing only 30% of the population. Black people account for 71% of the deaths in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, but are only 26% of the city's population.
That's why we see these numbers so high, because, people went out there spreading that word that blacks couldn't get it, and now we see that not only can we get the coronavirus, but we can die from the coronavirus.
On CNN, Magic then called out COVID-19 testing availability.
The problem is people want us to drive to suburban America to get that test.
Right,
Why
exactly.
can't you have that testing done right in urban America, right in the inner cities.
Furthermore, as ABC News reported, Black Americans are less likely than other groups to have health insurance, and because of other historic barriers accessing health care, may be more likely to have an underlying chronic health condition that could put them at a higher risk for COVID-19. Just recently, the Trump administration was on the brink of shutting down coronavirus testing across the country. Only recently have they reversed that decision. However, still, where are the testing sites? Why isn't there a test for everyone? The United States and South Korea confirmed their first cases of COVID-19 within a day of each other, but since then, the US has registered case numbers in 6 digits, whereas South Korea has barely cracked 10K. South Korea's COVID-19 mortality rate is 1/3 that of the US, and per capita, South Korea has tested 3 times as many citizens as the US has, thanks in part to South Korean companies, which produce more than 350,000 test kits per day and plan to increase their output to 1 million.